Gamertype Originals.
It's time for something brief. If it felt Doom needed the Super Meat Boy treatment, the result would be Butcher, a game that clearly advertises from its title screen that the easiest mode is hard. Literally, it's hard, harder, and hardest, and Butcher is absolutely brutal at any rate. In all honesty, I can't even get past the third level, so let's talk up to that point. The game's opening cutscene is cryptic, but you appear to be a mechanical Terminator-esque angry man who's here to butcher the inhabitants of a crippled space station. Maybe. Said inhabitants tend to be extremely hostile based on what I've seen so far, and they live in the darkest, most decrepit spaces, so I'm not quite sure who the real villain is here. I'm sure there's a companion game where a single butcher Terminator dude is killing everyone in your awesome dark space station. There's a hub world here, but I can't tell you anything about it since I've been stuck in the Ironworks facility the entire time I've owned this. This is a hardcore game, and Butcher's first level is the only ramp you're going to get. Just a heads up, you're still going to die. Apparently you can play Butcher with a controller, but I don't know why you'd use anything other than the keyboard and mouse because you need the response time. The quicker you can whip that cursor around the screen, the longer you'll live. Using WASD to get your character across these levels and up and down from platforms, you'll feel like you're twisting fingers trying to catch up with the mayhem your mouse hand is putting you through. I can't tell you how many times I've panicked and descended into a pool of lava trying to escape my prey. You get a chainsaw by default, and the shotgun and assault rifle make themselves available quickly. Dead enemies drop desperately needed ammo, so you'll throw yourself into danger over and over just to be able to kill the next bad guy. If you're left with the chainsaw, you're pretty much screwed. This is a game about dying and restarting quickly. This is a game about hovering inches from your screen, disconnecting from the external world, and becoming one with this murderous landscape. The mechanics are so slick that, like Super Meat Boy, you'll find yourself slide into a groove. You'll also find yourself tire as you fail to progress. This isn't a game I can play for an extended period of time because it's so intense. While Butcher is a game designed for speedrunning, with most of its enemies in predictable positions to take advantage of, it's the elimination arena portions that will try your skills and patience. You'll need to keep eyes up, down, and all around while snapping up every last ammo, health, and shield pickup because you'll end up dead quickly otherwise. Memorization won't help you battle the game's random seed. Your enemies hop between levels and fly, and there's a simple joy in detonating jetpacks for the fireballs alone. You might not find so much joy in murdering the game's hapless civilians to regain health, but you'll probably need it. The game's aesthetic feels drawn almost exclusively from the Doom series, from the dripping start screens of old to the lava-lit levels of the newest reboot. The game is smooth and moves quickly, but is rendered in a tiny resolution, similar to the also brutally difficult roguelike Teleglitch. It's a neat choice, but it also obscures details at times, which can be a pain when the bodies and gore start to pile up. The MIDI-infused industrial soundtrack that combines both eras of Doom is pretty banging too. Even though it shot me up and spit me out, I still have to recommend Butcher, but I don't know how much time I've got left with it. I'm not one to throw all my might at a challenge like a lot of my friends did in the NES era, because that was the only way you could wring the full value out of those games. Butcher requires a level of twitchy response that I just don't have. I'm making the comparison again, but Super Meat Boy did the intense platformer perfectly. Far less stick and far more carrot, the game walked you through each and every mechanic, even if the game focused entirely on mobility, just to make sure you had a firm grasp on how it played. When the game did descend into brutal difficulty, you had all the tools you needed to succeed. Your progress didn't feel like walking a knife edge because it was predictable. For $10, the game's worth a spin at any rate, but if you've got the skills and a penchant for the ultraviolence, you can't go wrong with Butcher.